Good evening, and welcome to the July meeting of the Penfield Historic Preservation Board. I'm Tom Combs, the chairperson. Call the meeting to order. And the first thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our last meeting. Did everyone get a chance to read them? Any comments, edits, corrections? Okay, we need a motion
Move to accept.
and a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a proposal from Kristin Bezek of Functional Living Chiropractic. This is part of the sign that we've actually worked with this sign before, I think, for one of these tenants. Do you want to? Should we invite Kristin to the?
Sure,
Come on
yeah,
up,
she can come up in case we have any questions, but I'll just do a quick run through. So this sign panel is located at 2132 5 Mile Line Road, and the proposal is for that bottom panel there with the white background that says Functional Living Chiropractic with the logo to the left there. So it's just the sign panel itself. The sign is already existing. And the proposed panel is 60 inches by 6 inches, and it's on that lowest slot. It's freestanding in front of the building there.
Does it matter if it's 6 inches or 5.5?
So it was 5.5, so it wouldn't be hanging down from the edge. So that's why there's the two pictures. When they sent that to me, it was just to kind of show me that the 6 inch would hang over the edge, so we agreed with the 5.5, so it's not.
So the 5.5 is the one.
Yeah, 5.5 would be the actual.
They look about the same.
Yeah.
Any questions, concerns? All right. We have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second, and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you for coming, and I'll wrap up with you tomorrow.
Sounds great.
Great.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, going down the agenda here, the next thing that we have two informational items. The first being the Clark House. I had hoped that we'd have new drawings to look at. As it turns out, the approval to get the new drawings had to go to the board, and they gave us that approval, but it wasn't in time for Bergman to generate the new drawings. But I think what we can do is if we can get the picture of the last version and then go through the list, which I think is in front of you all, which was the notes that came from the meeting with Bergman. And we can talk about these notes as they compare to the drawing.
And just a recap for everyone, just a quick reminder that back on June 14th, there was a meeting that took place between Bergman Associates and the town of Penfield staff plus Tom to discuss the Clark House Lodge event space, go over some of the specifics, what we're looking for, what they're looking for, just to come to some common ground for the next revision of drawings, so everyone can be on the same page and make sure that we're being as productive as possible and using our time and their time effectively. I was unable to be at that meeting, but Tom was there, and I have the notes for everybody in front of you so that everyone has a good reference of what happened during the meeting.
And I had a chance to review those notes, and everything that I mentioned that we talked about is included in this page in one form or another. So if we start at the top, the first one, which they've labeled the scale of the addition, in blue is what I had suggested initially, which came from our meeting, which was to break up the mass of that roof, to add a couple of dormers, one or two, whatever they felt was appropriate, just to break up that what they call the large expanse of the lodge roof, which I think we all sort of agreed that it was, it did have just an overwhelming sort of appearance. And while they didn't have concerns with that suggestion, another one came up, which was to lower the pitch of the roof, which I found kind of interesting when it was mentioned. It would accomplish a couple of things. The building itself wouldn't have that mass of a big black outline that we're looking at. It'd be much lower. It would also lower the height of the lodge relative to the house, so the house would be more prominent, which I think we also had all talked about and wish could happen. If there is a downside, if you want to call it that, is that you can't put dormers in on a lower pitched roof. So for discussion or comments from our team, how would we view a lower pitch to the lodge?
I have no problems.
It's fine.
Think that would solve the
I do.
the massing issue?
And you would eliminate the dormers?
Yeah, the pitch of the roof wouldn't accept a dormer.
Oh, wait a second, I missed something. So they will do a lower pitch roof and no dormers?
Correct.
What
No.
was the proposed pitch of the roof, do you remember?
I don't remember.
I wonder if they could fit a couple of shed dormers in instead of peaked like that. Oh. I wonder if they could fit a couple of shed dormers in with the lower pitched roof.
Shed dormer being those lower,
Yeah.
the lower kinds you often see. Sometimes they're sort of semicircular.
Didn't they specify the pitch of the roof?
No, I don't think they mentioned it, to be honest.
Okay,
I
because
don't
it-
remember it.
Okay, I'm a visual person, I have to see it, because what we have there now looks like, kind of like 1812,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. If they're going down a little bit, that's okay. If you go to like 4 and 12, you will have to look at that building and see if you like it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was hoping we would have the pictures to look at, and unfortunately we don't. So we'll have to wait till the next meeting when we have them to comment on it in more detail. And in the meantime, I can ask them what the pitch was that they're proposing.
What they're proposing, because if they have too low pitch of the roof, they will not be able to do a prominent tall windows at the end and at the entrance.
They couldn't do what kind of windows?
Well, they have windows, full height windows at the end of the building, right?
Mhm.
If the pitch of the roof is too low, those windows will not work. So I just have faith in them that they will lower the pitch but make it still workable.
Okay. I'll make a note to share that. Okay. The next suggestion, which came from us, was to take the outdoor-facing restrooms that in the picture is the dark area on the right, that's between the house and the lodge, and remove that to give a more of a separation between the house and the lodge. And again, it wasn't that they didn't like that proposal, but what I was informed of, because I assumed that the restrooms could be moved over towards the old cart house, because I believe there to be utilities there, and they said there are not utilities other than electric there. So it's not a simple thing to move them. But what they did suggest was to turn them around and so that they would face south. So if you can imagine in that picture, that those two restrooms up against what was called the preparation room, facing south, but so it would still open up that gap between the house and the lodge the same as we were suggesting, but it wouldn't move the restrooms. What it would do is move those 3 rooms, the preparation room, the kitchen, and the entranceway, would move them all a little bit to the north. Wouldn't change the mass of the lodge at all, but it would just move those 3 gray areas to the north, swing the bathrooms around so that they're facing to the south. Now, I commented that I still think the bathrooms are in the wrong place, but that suggestion doesn't seem to be going anywhere because of the cost of moving them someplace else. But it accomplishes the visual distinction between the 2 structures, but still has them within that structure. Is it clear what they're suggesting there? Any comments, concerns, questions about that?
No, I think it's a good idea, except that you will still have a link corridor connecting 2 structures, right?
Yes. Yeah, what they're suggesting with the linkage there, that it would then be clapboard as the lodge and of course the house is, and they were suggesting maybe painting that maybe a light gray so that it has what they call the shadowing effect, so that you have the 2 white buildings and then it adds to the distinction between the 2.
I'm fine with that.
Let's see. Okay, then we talked, the next section is the building materials in the addition. First of all, the windows, which I pointed out our concern, which was that we've got some very large sort of contemporary type windows in the entranceway on the north side, and then on the opening to the patio in the west side. But then we have these other windows along the front there that are sort of look like they belonged in the old house, and so that they kind of didn't match, which they seem to agree with. So I suggested they just go back and amongst the dozens of windows that they for sure know about, is to pick some others that have the more contemporary look to match the large windows that we see there. So they seemed amenable to that. Any concerns with that? Again, we don't have them to look at, but hopefully next time. Then we talked about the stone and whether the stone that's going to be on the fireplace of the lodge, and then there's going to be stone along the wall of the patio and then on the west side, did that need to look like or match the foundation of the house? And I think the conclusion of the group was that it didn't need to match. They didn't specify what they're talking about as far as a different stone. When I think of field stone, I think of the longer, thin ones that are stacked. But they didn't think they needed to match the stone foundation of the house. Do we have any comments, questions about that? Okay, hearing none. Then we talked at some length about the difference between rehabbing and restoration, and generally I think it was felt that until they get in there and are able to open up the walls and look at the rot and in both the foundation and in the lower part of the walls, that we really couldn't get into how much is going to be a restoration effort versus how much is just going to have to be a rehab. So, and not knowing what shape those are in at this point, that we couldn't really make a decision about that. We did talk about, and I think that's maybe on the second page, or on the back of the one that's at your places. They feel like that in order to get any work done in the house, it's going to have to be lifted up because of the rot that's in the wood at the bottom of the structure, as well as to try to fix the foundation.
The whole house? The whole house?
It would have to be lifted up in order to get to to where the problem areas are. Not suggesting that they leave it up, but then lift it up to fix things, and then they could set it back on a foundation, which got them into a discussion about the basement, which is apparently it's in very, very bad condition. So the suggestion came out, do we want to have a poured concrete floor in there, which would require maybe some digging and leveling of the basement? Not make it a full height basement, but there would be room then for storage, and it would be better for protection of the building, not to have that old dirt floor and exposed to the building. So again, I think we have to wait until they get some feedback from Barrow on what they want to do before we pass on that, unless we have an opinion about getting a poured floor.
I don't have an opinion. I have a question for, I guess, Mira or Chuck. When you lift a old structure like that, does it always work, or do you? I mean,
Sometimes drop it.
no, well, besides dropping it, Chuck.
No.
But I mean, does it?
long-
How do you do that?
It's a process.
I personally have never
Done
done
it?
I know that it's been done.
Well, I trust
But I
them,
personally
but
never was involved in anything like that. I guess, if their structural engineer said that that's what has to be done, that's what
Okay.
has to be done. So they will have to make sure that not much is happening to the building that they're lifting, right? The floors and everything else. So
They do
there are probably procedures for that.
They do it over time. They lift just a little bit at a time, let it
I
sit.
don't know why they wouldn't just do one wall at a time. That's what we usually do. They wouldn't have to lift it, just support it. And I don't recall the stone walls being in such horrible shape as they were saying. The sills needed some work, but whether they all had to be replaced or could be pieced together, I think maybe a less expensive approach.
But you said one wall could be done at a time?
We've done that before, yes.
Yeah.
and thanks, Mike. I guess I didn't understand that you just do small parts at a
No,
time.
they lift
I
it a
think
little bit and a little bit. and a
They
little
lift
bit.
it, let it rest so that
Right.
everything sort of falls back, and then they can lift it again.
I would say I don't think you'd need to lift it at all. You may have to put a couple beams in there to hold it up while you take individual walls down and rebuild them.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't see any
I'll
wood
take
frame
the-
structure. If it was a brick building or a masonry building, I'd say yeah, but I don't think you'd need to jack it up very much.
Well, they may suggest that it has to be done, but no contractor will go ahead and start lifting the building until a real assessment is being done, that it's needed, and there is a plan or strategy of how it's being done.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say it was just something that
Right.
someone suggested during the meeting may need to be done
Yeah.
without really knowing the logistics. It's not just going to be done
Correct.
willy-nilly.
Oh, for
Someone
sure. Yeah.
will figure it out.
Yeah, and honestly,
I just found
architects
it
don't decide
interesting.
that.
Yeah, that's a good question. How does that work?
Yeah. I've seen it done, I mean.
Yeah, it can be done, but if it's needed here, that's a question, and what's the best way to do it is another question. They need specialists
Yeah.
to
I
decide.
did think it was important to try to seal up the basement with a concrete floor, and then anything they needed to do on those walls to prevent moisture from coming
I
in.
like the idea of concrete slab in the basement because that will resolve many problems. Maybe under that concrete slab, they can put a drainage pipe and deal with drainage. Maybe they can connect it somewhere or just bring it up to light. And then they can put some waterproofing under that concrete slab as well, so that will protect the basement from being wet. And then they can seal the walls inside of that crawl space.
Yeah, they did mention that they needed to do some work to understand where the water table is before they made any final suggestions as to what they do with the basement.
Yeah, they have to, town will probably have to order geotech report.
I would think they could do the outside walls from the outside, just dig down on the footers, put some drain tile in there and parge them up below grade.
I'm sorry, I missed the suggestion.
I would think that they could just dig along the outside, prepare the basement walls from there, parge them and put some drain tile in.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to the fact that the stone walls have to all come down.
Oh, they weren't suggesting that.
Oh, I thought that's what you said. That's why you would lift the house.
No, it was to get in there to fix anything that needed to be fixed. It wasn't to take down the walls.
Okay. What would you, I guess I'm not following it.
Well, there were pictures that I think some of them were posted, that the bottom of the main, the main, not joists, the pillars at the corners were rotted. So they have to get at that in some fashion, and to get in there, and we replace it or cut out the bottom couple of feet of it and figure out how to support it. And you need to be able to get in there to do that.
I'm not sure.
I'm not following you, I'm sorry.
That's needed, because you can get in the basement there, and they can shore up the rest of the house while they're replacing that column. So I think it's not, just we don't see the whole picture.
Yeah, well, I don't want to pretend like I know the whole
Right.
picture either, so.
And like you said, it's an option that they're exploring, not a given.
Right,
So-
they
so we'll-
need to, go over it with structural engineers. Like, this is just very basic baseline, like, it's,
Right.
as far as I'm aware, it hasn't been explored yet. That's down the line.
And it's a very expensive option.
I think you'd need to give the structural engineer some kind of guidance, because that structural engineer is going to right off say, need a new foundation, because they're not going to want to be responsible for it. If you make it a point that you want to save the foundation, then I think you need to let them know that.
Well, if they have Mira involved, I'm sure they will get good advice on that.
All right, well, I'm going to take these comments back, but I think you're right. We need to see what the plan ultimately looks like. And Barrow, as far as I know, hasn't been in there to do a detailed study of it. I had also mentioned, or I'd sent everyone a couple of pictures of that, the building down in Farmington. I don't know if there were any comments about that. It was kind of an interesting situation. The main difference with that from what we're doing is that it was private property. So the Historic Preservation Commission, they used the word commission there, couldn't really comment on the look of that building. The bank did what they wanted to do, but the bank was also very concerned about about maintaining the structure of the house, and they were very pleased with that. The Preservation Commission there was they were able to comment on it and make sure that the work was done properly, but they had a committed private owner and they did a really nice job. If you're ever driving down 332 there. It's open to the public. You can walk in and take a look at it. They did an interesting job. They used, I think I mentioned in my email, they took portions of the barns, which they said couldn't be salvaged, and used them to help rehabilitate the house. So some of the floorboards are from the barn and some of the other structural elements. And they took down the second floor, which I think one time was talked about for the Clark House, and they put a little balcony around the top, and they display some artifacts, some historic things from the town are up on this little balcony. And they used the flooring from the second floor to fix the floor on the first floor. So it's kind of an interesting situation. They also had the company that did the work took some of the barn timbers and made just a gorgeous big meeting room table that's in the middle of the room. So it's quite a deal. It's open to the public for rental. or to have any kinds of meetings or a coffee club or tea club or whatever. It's very nice. They've also put me in touch with the people who are really closely involved in the work in the event that I'd want to ask them more questions and talk about the decisions they made and the process that they went through. Any other comments I can take back? Are we moving along to a more final product from our viewpoint?
Seems so.
Okay, and I'll try to see if I can get some better details on what the process with Barrow will be. And I think it's maybe a little premature for that. Okay, our next item is the Clark Road Barn. Shannon, would you want to give us an update on that?
Sure. So the Clark Road Barn Advisory Committee met on June 28th to review the proposed alternatives and evaluation rubric being presented to assist in the organization and decision-making throughout the process. So basically, it's just getting everybody on the same page who's going to be who's serving on the committee, going over the criteria, what are the proposals, and how they will be ranked and evaluated. So that's just basically getting everything set up for more detailed discussions and going through everything kind of point by point. So the next meeting, I believe, is in 2 weeks.
Yep, the 17th is the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's moving along. We did have a chance for some of the folks that were there to peek inside the barn. We couldn't go in there because of the structural damage that there is. But you could see some things, and then if you had a chance to look at the drone footage of the inside, it was quite interesting. They really did a nice job. It flies around in the inside and gets all kinds of different views of the roof and the flooring and the basement, which I hadn't seen at all. So it's kind of a mess inside. I think that's goes without saying.
And that is on the website, so anybody has access to the 3D modeling to walk through it in a visual tour.
Okay, any other items for discussion? All right, then we can adjourn promptly here. But we'll need a motion for that.
Motion to adjourn.
And we have a second. And
Second.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to PCTV.
This was helpful.
Come in.